So on Steam, the user Crippling Depression had a bunch of questions about RPG Maker XP. And a lot of them I had tutorials for already, but one in particular that we're going to cover today is building a better NPC. So here we have a little test game. This is the test game that I made for testing dialogue and for testing hard mode and turning the save off and everything like that. So I built this little second screen, and we're going to make a little simple NPC. Okay? NPC. Now, the simplest NPC you can think of, you just give them some text, show text. Hi there! Now, the problem with this is that that's all this NPC is ever going to say. And we'll give them a graphic here. The Lancer. All right. There we go. Let me see if I can fix that static. Okay. So they're not moving. All they're going to do is stay right in that spot, and they'll turn to face me and say hi there. So let's see what we can do to make this a more interesting NPC. To start with, let's look at the autonomous movement section. So because it's fixed, they're not going anywhere. I can have them step randomly. I can have them walk towards the end user, which would be me, and I can have a route set in place. If I wanted them to circle around in a specific set of movement, we don't need any of that right now. Right now, we'll just set them to step around randomly. Okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to do to make this NPC seem a little bit more alive is we're going to make it so that they don't always say hi there. All right? So rather than going right into text, let's get rid of this. Hang on one second. Okay. So we want to use, we want the use of a variable. So we're going to do control variables. All right. Now under variables, we're only going to use one. So we'll hit single, and this is the list of all the variables used in the game. So we'll just call this RNG. Okay. All right. So we will change the RNG variable to a random number between 1 and 3. Okay. Control the first variable entitled RNG, set it to 1, between 1 or 3. And we get this. So it changes this back end number, but they still don't say anything. So we're going to add conditional branch. And under the conditional branch, we're going to use the variable. Okay, if RNG is equal to 1, then if RNG is equal to 1, then do this, else do this. Okay, and then we'll add another conditional branch inside that one. If, oops, sorry, not that one, variable, RNG is equal to 2, do this, else do this. And we're going to add another one. Oops. Conditional branch, variable RNG. If RNG is equal to 3, then do this. So the first thing that happens is it sets the RNG number between 1 and 3, and then we have these conditions. So, first time it'll say, hi there. The second time it'll say, how you doing, partner? And the third time it'll say, what's up? Let's test to see how that looks in game. So you can see that they're randomly stepping around very slowly. And it's picking one of the three every time I talk to them. So they're not always saying the same thing. It's a simple little detail, but it makes your game seem much more alive. These are, that's a simple tool, but let's look at something that's maybe more, that's used for more storytelling. Let's try giving the player some input. You always want to name your NPCs if you can. RNG NPC. Okay, and up here, we'll do speech input NPC. All right, and we'll use the thief. Okay. So this NPC is going to say something simple, and our character will have the chance to respond. It's a nice day out, isn't it? Okay. And then we're going to go to, let's see. Where does XP put it? Hang on a second here. It was the very next one, show choices. And by default, it's going to give you a yes or no. But you can do more complex things. We'll just leave it as is. Let us frolic. And then for no, do you hate sunshine? The second NPC, and I didn't give him any movement, so he'll stay put. I just recently reinstalled Windows, so it's still doing funny things like that. Alright, nice day out, isn't it? No. Yes. And then I'm able to give him some simple input. So, the next thing we're going to look at is NPC placement. So we have these two NPCs here, and every time I walk into this screen, they're going to be there. Alright? If you really want to make an area seem alive, then you can make it so that different NPCs will be there at different times. And we're going to look at a real simple implementation of this. First, let's make a third NPC. That doesn't do much. Okay? They'll say hi, yeah, and that'll be it. We'll make this the cleric. And they will approach the end user, which is super creepy. But that's what they'll do. Alright. So we have these three NPCs. Now remember the first NPC, we used variables to make it so that they would say something different every time. This time we're going to use another variable. Let's go back here. When we walk into that map, we use this teleporter. All right. Actually, I'll set that to player touch. Rather than just making it so that it transfers the player, it also will set a variable. Okay. Set NPC placement, we'll call it. All right. And we'll set it random between 1 and 3. Okay. So now, with each one of these, they're only going to appear if I do variable 1. And this one will only appear if I do variable 2. And this one will only appear if I do oh, I'm sorry. not RNG, NPC placement. 3. This has to be set to NPC placement. Okay, so in order for them to appear, the conditions for them to show up, it has to show the particular variable for their placement. Hang on one sec. Yeah, okay, that was what I was forgetting. NPC placement is 1 or above. So this one will always show up, because if NPC placement rolls a 2, they'll always be there. But let's just take a look at what we have instead. Okay, just this one person. If I leave, come back in. Now they're all there. If I leave, come back in, just the one. There we go. This person's gonna creepily walk towards me. So here's an example. This is a pretty simple example of using variables and RNG to make this little area seem just a little bit more alive. And that's my quick tutorial on making slightly more believable NPCs in RPG Maker XP.